Good morning, students. How are you today? So we are going to keep going. I hope you have a grateful Thanksgiving break. So today's class is going to be about triangles. But before we start this class, I want to make a summary about what you did the last week before you go with the Thanksgiving break. I know most of you maybe didn't remember something, so that's why I decided to do this brief summary. I would like also to copy the summary on your notebook, so if you can pause the video and just copy, it's gonna be very helpful for you in order to study and do your test. So first of all, let's talk about the angles. We have different types of angles according to their measure. So we have acute angle that go from 0 to 89. We have right angle that is exactly 90 degrees. We have obtuse angle, which is from 91 to 179. We have a straight angle, which is 180. And we have the reflex angle, which is from 181 to 360. How could this appear on your test? So obviously I'm gonna give you an angle. I will say the number, the measure of this angle, and you need to recognize according to the measure what type of angle we are talking about. So that's why it's very important that you understand these concepts and its measure. That's right. So then we have also pair of angles, and it's very important you remember the word pair. So that means we are working with two angles at the same time. So we have the adjacent angle. I already draw something here for you to have a guidance. Adjacent angles are angles that are together, so one besides the other one. They share the same one of the sides, so they have a common side in between. So that's why we call it adjacent angles. They are not equal at all, so they are just one together with the other one, sharing a common angle. Then we have the vertical angle. That means they are opposing, one in front of the other one. They are totally the same, so that means if angle 1, for example, measures 30 degrees, so angle 2 is going to measure exactly 30 degrees. Also, we have the complementary angles, and it's when these two angles, when you add them, the answer is going to be 90 degrees. For example, here I have angle 1, angle 2, and let's say that angle 1 is going to be 45, and I want to know who's going to be angle 2. So obviously, to find who's going to be angle 2, you just have to subtract 90 with 45, and that's going to give you the answer for angle number 2. And the supplementary angles is when you add two angles and the sum is going to be 180. So the same, if I'm giving you angle 1, that's supposedly 35 degrees, and I want to know the supplement angle, you just need to subtract 180 with the measure of angle number 1, and that is going to give you angle number 2. Okay, so those are the most important concepts. You already studied with me. Also, we work here about other types of angles according to parallel lines. Okay, when they are between parallel lines. Remember, parallel lines are lines that goes in the same direction, but also we have a transversal in the middle. If you look carefully, this angle is from this side of the line, the other angle is to the other side of this line, and they are exactly inside the two parallel lines. So that's why we call it alternate, because they are in different position. One is from the left, the other one is from the right. And interior, because they are between, inside these two parallel lines. The same is going to be happening here. But if you look carefully, the difference is that these angles are not inside the parallel line. On the contrary, they are outside of this parallel line. So that means we are gonna call it also alternate, because one is from the left, the other one is on the right, but they are outside this parallel line. So that's why we call it alternate exterior. In this case here, they are in the same side, so both are exactly on the right, so we are gonna call it corresponding. Okay, so all these angles are gonna be exactly the same, they measure the same. So these two, for being just alternate interior, they will be equal. If one is 20, the other one is 20. The same happen with the alternate exterior, they are gonna be equal, measure exactly the same, and the same happen with the corresponding angles. They are always gonna be exactly the same. Now, about today's class, we are gonna be talking about types of triangles. According to the angles, we have 3 types. It's gonna be called acute, and that means you have 3 acute angles. Could be obtuse, in which one of the angles inside the triangle is gonna be obtuse, or we have a right, in which one of the angle is gonna be right inside this triangle. Okay, so when we talk about acute, we are talking, remember, that the angles need to be between 0 and 89. So the 3 angles needs to be from 0 to 89. So that's why we call it acute. If we are gonna call it obtuse, that means that at least one angle needs to be from 91 to 179. And if we call it right, it's because one of the angles inside this triangle is gonna be 90 degrees. That's how we classify triangles according to angles, but also triangles could be classified according to sides, depending on the measure of the sides. If the 3 sides are totally equal, so let's say that they measure exactly the same, 3 centimeter, 3 centimeter, and 3 centimeter, we are gonna call it equilateral. And equi comes from the word equal, and lateral comes from the word side. So 3 sides equal, we call it equilateral. Also, we have isosceles, and isosceles means 2 of these, 2 of the sides of the triangle are gonna be the same, not the 3, but just 2. And also we have the scalene that have no sides equal at all. So depending on the angles, we have 3 different definitions, which is acute, obtuse, and right. And according to the sides, we have other 3 different definitions, which are equilateral, isosceles, and scalene. How could we apply this? I'm gonna give you the measure of each of the sides. Depending if the 3 sides are equal, it's gonna be equilateral. If just 2 are gonna be equal, it's gonna be isosceles. Or if any of them are equal, it's gonna be scalene. The same happens with the angles. I'm gonna give you the measure of the angles. If you see that the 3 angles measure from 0 to 89, of course, it's gonna be acute, so that angle is gonna be called acute. Or if you see any right angle there that measures 90 degrees, it's gonna be called right. Or if you have one obtuse that comes from, or that goes from 91 to 179, we are gonna call it obtuse. Now, also what is very important for you to understand, and this is the most important thing, also the most important rule that you need to apply, is that all angles inside a triangle, when you add them together, your answer needs to be 180. Okay, so for example, if I'm giving you like 2 angles here, you see, so we have here is gonna be 25 degree. Here we have 90 degree, but I'm missing the 3rd angle. How are you gonna find it? It's gonna be pretty easy. Remember, the 3 of them needs to be 180. So if you already have 2, you add it and subtract by 180, and of course that is gonna give you exactly what the angle you are missing. So for example, if I have 90 and 25, I'm just going to add them, both of them, which is gonna be 115, and that's not all. I need the 3rd angle, so what I'm going to do, I already have 115, but I cannot pass the 180, so that's why I'm going to subtract 180 with 115. So I need to borrow here, the 8 becomes 7, this is 10, 5, 6, so this angle is gonna be 65 degrees. So it's pretty easy, you just add the 2 angles I'm giving you, and then you subtract it by 180, you will get the 3rd angle. The same happens when you have an exterior angle. For example, here, you have a triangle, this is my triangle, okay, and I want to find the angle that is outside this triangle. How you find it? Just taking into account, you have different options. First of all, this is a straight angle here, so that means if this is 120, what I'm going to do is you just subtract 180, which is the straight, with 120, that's gonna give you 60, so that's the measure of this angle here, okay? That's one of the possibilities. Or also, I'm gonna draw something here for you to understand what I'm going to do. Let's say that this is 30 here, and this is 20 here. That's just an example, please. And I want to know the measure of this angle outside this triangle. What is going to be happening? The angles that are in front of the exterior angle, when you add them, that's gonna be the answer of this angle here. So 20 30 is 50, so my angle here is gonna be 50. So just the sum of the angles that are opposing to it, that's gonna be the answer of the angle you have outside, okay? So what I want you to do right now, I want you to go to page 223, and I'm gonna write it here, page 223, and I want you to answer from activity 1 to activity 17, okay? So you have to apply all the concepts you have on the board. You can discuss it together, and of course tomorrow I'm gonna start my class just discussing some of these. Remember, you have also a Zoom. It's very important that you get connected every time I send the link to your parents. So please, if you have any question, it's very important you get connected there, because that's the way in which you can get in contact with me and we can clarify any question you have, okay? So just be on time, because remember, it's just 15 minutes. So see you, love you, and have a great day.